election trends have changed over the years? This is one of the areas that you study.
Yes, definitely is one of the areas that I study, but I try to put things in particular contexts. And when I read things in the online media, I am rather dismayed that people tend to, in my opinion, draw certain incorrect conclusions. Like, for example, there's this notion of the protest vote. What exactly is a protest vote? Mm-hmm. Okay, a lot of people were vesting significant importance on the result of the Hougang by-election and the Punggol East by-election. All right? The fact that they are called by-elections is not an inconsequential matter. By-elections are essentially an occasion to cast a protest vote against the establishment. It is a phenomenon that you will see in jurisdictions around the world.
Because there's no real risk of...
Absolutely, okay. There's no real risk of the government of the day being displaced. Mm-hmm. And I would even include I would even include the presidential election in that mix, because the presidential election is although it's now we have an elected presidency, but the powers are very limited. It's not going to upset the apple cart insofar as the governance of this country is concerned. So presidential election in Singapore, by-elections in Singapore are all occasions for Singaporeans, if they want to cast a protest vote against the incumbent. If I can go back to 1991, where Mr. Cham Si Tong brilliantly engineered what was supposed to be a full-fledged general election into a by-election by getting all the opposition parties to contest just by one seat, less than half the seats contested. He essentially turned a full-fledged general election into a by-election. So a lot of people said, fine, we will view it as an opportunity. Since the government is not a threat, we will view it as an opportunity to cast a protest vote.
So are you saying, Derek, that in a general election,
yes,
a full-fledged general election,
yes,
such as the one that's coming, that voters tend to vote more conservatively?
Absolutely.
With the head?
Absolutely, yes. Okay. They would feel free to risk it a bit more in by-elections. As I say, the key phrase
even if the government is delivered on nomination day.
On nomination day.
Yeah. If let's say there are
on nomination day is not a full-fledged parliamentary general election, then it becomes...
no, what I mean is if, as it used to be the case, on nomination day, because of the number of walkovers,
yeah,
you know that this is the government, right?
Right.
Even then, you would say that you're saying that the voters in a general election would vote more conservatively.
For the most part, but this is where it comes back to your initial point about the trends and the changing trends now. So the fact is that we in Singapore are following what is the universal trend and how elections are conducted in Singapore and how the voter is becoming fairly typical of voters around the world. We will see by-elections as essentially a key phrase, occasion to cast a protest vote against the government. So that's why I was rather dismayed that a lot of people were vesting too much importance on the conclusion of the by-elections. You cannot extrapolate from those results and think that you will get a similar result in a general election.